So welcome everybody to the August 20th, 2025 meeting of the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. Before we begin, I have a few notes for participating in the meeting. We ask that attendees remain muted unless speaking, and to begin first by clearly identifying yourself. All approval votes will be by roll call tonight, which will be administered when the time comes. I'll begin by taking a roll call of the trustees. Trustee Agudelo, here. Trustee Brooks.
Here.
Trustee Hampton Dance. Trustee Kafour. Trustee Newton.
Here.
Trustee Pincombe.
Here.
Trustee Valdez.
Here.
Now we'll move to our first item here, approval of the minutes from the July 30th, 2025 meeting. The draft minutes were emailed to you. Are there any corrections to the minutes as distributed? If there are no corrections, I'll request a motion to approve the minutes of the August 30th or July 30th, 2025 meeting.
This is Jason. I motion to approve the meeting minutes from July 2025.
And on that motion, Trustee Agudelo, yes. Trustee Brooks?
Yes.
Trustee Hampton Dance?
Yes.
Trustee Kafour? Trustee Newton?
Yes.
Trustee Pincombe?
Yes.
Trustee Valdez?
Yes.
And with that, we'll move to our next item, request for the Affordable Housing Trust Fund contract amendment for the TG 24 Jackson LLC, 24 Jackson Street additional funding request for local action unit application preparation, affirmative fair housing marketing plan. And with that, the chair recognizes Ms. Tozer.
Thank you. So as the board knows, units funded through the trust fund are expected to qualify for the state's subsidized housing inventory. And in order to meet that requirement, there are certain steps that have to be taken, including the completion of a local action unit application and the preparation of an affirmative fair housing marketing plan, both of which need to be submitted to and approved by the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities. So we are joined by TG 24 Jackson, the developer behind the 24 Jackson Street project, and represented by Steve Rothschild, who I'll turn this over in a moment. But he's joining us to request an additional $4,000 to cover the cost for a consultant to complete the LAU application in the marketing plan, which is similar to 49 West Street, an unanticipated cost. So he will present an update to the board and the request. I'd like to note that the developer will remain responsible for expenses related to conducting the lottery and managing the tenant selection process in accordance with that affirmative fair housing marketing plan. And in terms of funding availability for this request, the $4,000, should it be approved, would be allocated from the American Rescue Plan Act interest that's in the trust fund account. And this amendment would increase the loan amount from $894,046 to $898,046, which equates to $112,255.75 of trust fund funding per affordable unit. So it is still below that $150,000 limit. So with that, I would like to turn it over to Mr. Rothschild to present an update on the project and to request the additional supports. And Steve, if you want me to share the PowerPoint, I can, unless you want to. I can make you a presenter.
My preference is that I'm able to share, that I can just click as I need to.
Okay, yep, you're a presenter now, so you should be able to share.
Excellent. Can you see it?
Yes, we can see the PowerPoint.
Okay, excellent. It's a little different than my typical software because you guys vanish when I do this, but okay. I'd like to thank the American Housing Trust Fund Board for working with me to this point, and I'd like to provide a quick update. I know a number of the board members are new, so if they're not familiar with the project, this will help them become familiar with the project. The project takes place on 24 Jackson Street. The image I'm showing right now is what the lot looked like. So it would start where the cement wall used to be and go up to about where that yellow bollard light is. And you've got a couple other images. So basically 2 trees, and we kept it mowed and whatnot, but nothing there. So the idea of this project is that in Worcester, 33% of the population, or 26,000 units, are single person households. So addressing this market, we did 9 oversized studio apartments. What's unique about the project is that 66% of the apartments, 6 of the 9, are Group 2A accessible, and 3 are workforce development. Looking at it a different way, one of them is 60% AMI. Yep. Are we good? Okay. One of them is 60% AMI, 7 are 80% AMI, and 1 is market rate. This is an overall layout of the oversized studio apartment. What we did when we designed this is that they didn't have to deal with elevators and blackouts and things like that, is that we have ground level access on the 1st and 2nd floor. And what that does is it enables people to get in and out of their units, even if there is no power, which is nice. Continuing on, you saw what the lot looked like. This is the state of the building right now. This is the left side. I'm sorry. Yeah, left side facing. It says right side. That was a mistake. This is the front of it. It's the design. It's being done with black windows, and so we upgraded that. There'll be brick on the lower 1st floor level, and then the upside of it is all going to be a vertical siding. So the goal of the design is when people walk by to look at it and go, that's nice. Was that there? Or is that new? Because we wanted it to really fit in the neighborhood. This is the right side facing view. And you see where the driveway will go up into the back. And this is the back side that unfortunately right now looks like hell because of the wiring there. Inside, big windows, big open areas in there. The building is all insulated, and everything is done. It's ready to be closed in, and that happens on Monday. We blue board. So actually, all the blue board is coming in, being delivered tomorrow. This is another scene. Again, you get an idea of the size and the openness in these units. So the timeline is opening for occupancy in January 2026, but this is subject to EOHLC and the approval for HSI. So if we get held up there, and that can take a while, the building unfortunately may sit empty for a period of time. The issue is, so right now we're going through, and this is what the request is, the cost of the local initiative program. It's about $19,000 plus additional cost for translation, printing, ads, postage, travel, and whatnot. And that's basically it. I'd be glad to answer any questions. I wanted to move through fairly fast because I know some of you have seen this before, or different aspects of it, but at least you're updated.
Are there any questions from anyone on the board?
What's really cool is I picked the molding today going in there, and it's oversized, contemporary, broad, flat molding. We're picking all the finishes, and this thing is so premium inside and so nicely done. I really look forward to when it's ready to open, having all of you come by and see what we've achieved for a population in desperate need of housing like this.
All right. So hearing no questions, I move that the Affordable Housing Trust Fund authorizes the execution of a loan modification amendment to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund loan agreement dated June 28th, 2024, between the City of Worcester acting through the Worcester Municipal Affordable Housing Trust Fund, TG 24 Jackson LLC, in the amount of $4,000. On that motion, do I have a second?
Second.
So I'll do the roll call here. Trustee Agudelo, yes. Trustee Brooks,
Yes.
Trustee Hampton Dance,
Yes.
Trustee Kafour, Trustee Newton,
Yes.
Trustee Pincombe,
Yes.
Trustee Valdez,
Yes.
and with that, the amendment passes. So thank you for joining us, Mr. Rothschild.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
And with that, we'll move on to our next item, a discussion of the fall 2025 board meeting schedule. And with that, the chair recognizes Ms. Tozer to lead the discussion.
Thank you. So I'll try to make this as quick as possible, but as you all know, the board authorized the release of the new RFP at the last meeting. And this agenda item is to really nail down a meeting schedule for the application review and approvals. By way of background, the RFP has 2 tiers to accommodate projects with different levels of readiness. So we're getting applications at 2 different points in time. Tier 1 is the shovel-ready projects, those that are ready to go or have a clear path to getting started within 6 months. Those are due September 17th, and then the general application is due October 15th. So we can also take this time to discuss how the board wants to structure the review, but I propose basing it off of how we did it for the first RFP, where we met twice for each application. So for the September 17th deadline, all right, actually, this will go for both. And in general, we'll hold at least 2 meetings after each of the deadlines. First, I will get applications that meet minimum requirements distributed to the board. So that will take a little bit of time. Then those applicants will be invited to the board meeting to briefly present on their projects, and the board can ask questions. After that meeting, the board will then score the proposals, give those to me. I'll put everything together, and then at that second meeting is when the board would review overall scoring of the proposals and ideally be able to vote regarding conditional commitments. So given this, I really want to focus especially on that tier 1 application, because that's been generating the most interest. My suggested schedule to the board is straying away from the Wednesday meetings. So this is where I really want input. So having the first meeting where the applicants come to present on Thursday, September 25th. Then the scores would be due to me on Tuesday, September 30th. And then the second meeting would be Wednesday, October 8th, where you would review the scores and potentially vote. I do want to say this is a tight timeline, but with the tier 2 deadline of October 15th, I figure if the board is able to award funding by October 8th, that will give those general applicants a sense of how much funding might be left, or if they might be, if they are applying but they're not funded due to limited availability of funds, they would know that they could still submit and be invited back, but it wouldn't be as quick of a application review schedule. I know I went through that very quickly, but so I guess starting with that potential schedule where we would meet twice we'd meet once at the end of September, and then on September 25th, and then on Wednesday, October 8th. Turn it back to the chair to facilitate any discussion about that.
Are there any questions, concerns with those times?
Through the chair, I'm out of the country that week of October 8th. I'll be same time zone, but out of the country, so I can't commit to being able to make a meeting even virtually.
On my end, I should be able to make either of those times.
Through the chair, I'm fine with those times as well.
Through the chair, I'm good with those times as well.
Okay, so with that, this is still subject to change. I mean, I think that's the ideal schedule, but we do, I'll get to this in the updates and announcements part of the agenda. But the schedule may have to change based off of quorum, due to other changes in the board, but, I think we should, given the general consensus here, I think this is the schedule that we'll go with for now. So I appreciate the input.
Okay. And if there are any other points on item 5, Ms. Tozer?
We could, I think we should get through tier 1 and then we can discuss the tier 2 dates. I do have some tentative dates, but I think it really depends on how tier 1 goes.
So we should put tier 2 on hold until we know a little bit more, or what are we thinking here?
If you'd like to discuss it as a chair, happy to, but it's up to you.
Does anyone have any issues looking at tier 2 dates? Now the first series of them would be starting towards the end of October. Is folks able to look that far ahead?
Well, I kind of agree with Jeanette on trying to see what funding is going to be left over after we get through the tier 1 to then probably try to move forward and assess what we can do for tier 2. And if we set a date now, we might set a date and not have enough funding.
Yeah.
Through the chair, I would rather set the date now to make sure I have it on my calendar. And if we don't have funding, well, nobody minds a canceled meeting.
Okay, so through the chair, if I may, so the suggested dates that I've proposed for tier 2 is to have the applicants present on Wednesday, October 29th. And then the board would meet to review score on Wednesday, November 12th, since we have a little bit more wiggle room in terms of scheduling after tier 2. So October 29th and November 12th.
Those days should work for me.
They work for me as well.
Anyone those days wouldn't work for, or should we pencil those in?
I can do those two.
No objection here.
All right, so I think we're good on those days. And seeing that scheduling out of the way, I think we can move to our next item, updates and announcements. And the chair will once again recognize Ms. Tozer.
Okay, so some short and bittersweet announcements. So I do want to acknowledge that this is Trustee Newton's last meeting as a trustee. It's been really great having you serve on the board over the last year. It was, really great to have you participate in the strategic planning process. Your insights were, very much needed and very helpful. So I just want to take a moment to thank you for your service and we wish you well in your new hometown.
Yeah, thank you. It was a pleasure being on the board. I really appreciate the opportunity. Yeah, and I wish the board luck. I actually moved out to Waltham. I work in Boston twice a week. I moved because I couldn't justify the housing costs in Worcester anymore. So I hope that you guys can do more to help keep those houses affordable in Worcester. Appreciate the work we're going to keep doing on this board.
Appreciate everything you did with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
And slightly more positive news, we do have a new trustee that will be joining the board. I won't share details yet, but a trustee was appointed by the city council last night. So I look forward to having him at hopefully the next meeting of this board. And last, in terms of my updates and announcements, we do have 2 vacant seats on the board that are for anyone that lives, somebody who resides within affordable housing and is interested in serving on the board. It's, really important that we have those perspectives on the board. So I want to encourage folks to reach out to their network and, help us recruit some more wonderful trustees. I'll turn it back to the chair now.
And with that, are there any questions, thoughts from folks on those updates? So hearing none, we'll move to our next item, financial status updates, and the chair again recognizes Ms. Tozer.
Okay, so very quickly, the financial summary that the board received, I wanted to just highlight that for the months of April through July of 2025, the trust accrued $205,229.25 of American Rescue Plan Act interest in the trust fund account. No additional payments have been made into the trust fund yet, but I was informed that the first payment from the developer, or first donation from the developer behind the Arbella at Bramble Hill, will be arriving soon. So hopefully be able to reflect that in the next financial update to the board.
And are there any questions from the board on the financial piece? Hearing none, we'll move to our next item. Are there any future agenda items anyone would like to get added to a future meeting?
I'd like to further discuss the fundraising that we talked about last time and how we're going to go about that.
That'd be a good item to add. Thank you. Any other items? So hearing none, I'll make a motion to adjourn the August 20th, 2025 Affordable Housing Trust Fund Board of Trustees meeting. Do I have a second to that motion?
I second that motion.
And on that motion, I'll take a roll call. Trustee Agudelo? Yes. Oh, Trustee Brooks?
Yes.
Trustee Hampton Dance?
Yes.
Trustee Kafour? Trustee Newton?
Yes.
Trustee Pincombe?
Yes.
Trustee Valdez?
Yes.
And with that, we'll adjourn the meeting. Thank you again, Trustee Newton, for joining us and helping us over the last year. And I hope everyone has a nice night, and we'll see you at the next meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, everyone.